Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World. I am doing a very brief follow-up video to my ProSeed tutorial. Now there was a topic that I did not discuss in the original. I was giving the basics to let everybody get started, but it has been asked about, so I thought I would just go ahead and cover it. And that issue is starting the field with half a lane seeded. Right before we get into that though, I did miss one little thing in the original tutorial, and that is if this interface is taking up too much of your screen space, click in the upper right hand corner. There is a minimize button and that will narrow that down so it's not in your way. But for this we need it to be open. So starting with half a lane, Wopster says that if we have an even number of lanes in our field, we need to start with half a lane seeded. And in order to find out how many lanes we have, we are going to activate our GPS. We are going to set up our GPS. Now my auto width is 29.52 feet, and I'm just going to set I want an A+ heading, set to cardinal, and we can see GPS is now showing our first lane. And now that we know that, we want to drive down the width of the field here. And the three icons that GPS activates when you install it on the right hand side of your screen, the top one is a lane counter. And right now it's counting the number of lanes in this field. We're going to go all the way to the end and see where we're at on the last pass. And it's 24. It says -24, doesn't matter. What we know now is that that number is even, and that's what we needed to know. So Wopster instructs us that if that number is even, we have to start with half a lane. So we're going to do just that. We are going to make sure this is set to auto mode and get up here into our first lane so that GPS is ready to go. Now I did mention in the first video that we can shut down half the seeder, and we do that with this button, and you can see right here that half of the seeder is now turned off. We will activate GPS, drop our seeder down, start on down this field. And if we look behind us, we can see that it is working as intended. We are only sowing half that lane. Now, the next phase to this is that when we get to the end of the field, we need to turn around and get set up, and we need to change our GPS settings to create an offset that is half the width of our seeder. We've got a 9-meter seeder. I need a 4.5-meter offset. And we are going to line up, assuming we already know what that offset is, and we kind of do because it's the outside lane, or the outside of the lane. I will show you here in just a second. Now I want to turn my seeder back on so that everything is active. And when we line up for our next pass, we want to do it on the outside of the lane. So we're going to be lining up on one of the yellow lines. Go back into our GPS settings, and we are going to create an offset. In this case, it's 14.76 feet. That's going to be half of the 29.52 feet of our seeder. Come back out, and we can see that we are lined up on the red offset line. That's where we're supposed to be according to Wopster. We'll drop our seeder back down, activate GPS, and we're going to start down the field. Now, here's where we run into problems. I have tested this with different tractors, different seeders, and this keeps happening. We are so close to the edge of the drive lane with this massive offset that GPS thinks we're shifting lanes, and we will just continually keep shifting right and shifting right and shifting farther right until we stop the tractor. Now the only way that I have thought of to get around this, because it's not working as intended, it looks good on paper, but in actual use it's just not playing out, is if we line up with that offset, and I'm going to stick with it since we've already seeded this a little bit. I want to pull up to about this far, and if we switch to semi-auto, we can now hire a helper, and that helper will start from that half-seeded lane and should go on down the field and take care of this as was intended. That's the only solution I have at this point. Until Wopster addresses this, make some kind of correction. I expect that will be addressed in a future update. I don't know that for sure, but I would hope so. Anyway, that's the update for the ProSeed tutorial. If you have any suggestions, if you have any workarounds, I'd be happy to hear them. If you got something out of this video, please click the like and subscribe buttons. And until next time, take care.